Well, that sure was fun, wasn't it? The Ohio State Buckeyes take care of business. A wire-to-wire, no doubt victory over the Western Michigan Broncos. They get the job done, 56-0. We bring you a breakdown here on the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast.
We've got the whole crew together as we cover Ohio State
with our instant analysis from Ohio State.
There's something that doesn't feel right.
Unbelievable effort from him today.
Is E.J. Liddell going to crack the first team All-Big Ten?
I think he can be the guy. I'm not trying to start a quarterback controversy.
He seems to have the durability. He certainly has the toughness. This is the question on a lot of people's minds here. Welcome to Buckeye Breakdown.
Well, good morning, everybody. Yes, it is good morning. 12:15 Eastern here on the East Coast. Just finished up, and we're looking high above the horseshoe here after Ohio State just totally dominated the Western Michigan Broncos, 56-0 in Week 2. Anthony Moeglin here for the Buckeye Breakdown, the Ohio State on SI team, and recapping what was never a contest, never really a game that was in question, but a game that was really, really important for the Ohio State Buckeyes, because while the story is here in Columbus, I think this conversation is nationwide and a national one, because Week 2 around NCAA college football was one of the most bizarre weeks that you'll ever find. But we're going to start here in Columbus, where Ohio State took care of business against a team that didn't match up well against Ohio State. Western Michigan was totally outmanned right from the start, and Ohio State made sure that there was no funny business like we saw around the country, taking care of business, 56-0. But truthfully, from the first start of the game, I know we talked about it in our pregame show, and we talked about it throughout the entire week here. I thought it was so important for the Ohio State Buckeyes to start fast. I didn't think that they needed to score 30 points in the first quarter or score a bunch, but they needed to play clean and really look the part. And man, did they do that. The defense was the first unit up. They forced Western Michigan into a very quick 3-and-out, and then flipped the ball right back to the offense. And if you remember last week, the offense just really felt very clunky, kind of getting going. They struggled to find any rhythm, struggled to find any continuity against the Akron Zips, and took a 17-3 lead into halftime of that game. Today was a totally different story. They come out, go right down the field. Will Howard was very sharp in the first half, being very accurate with the football, quick and decisive decision-making, making for some easy drives. First drive punched in by Travion Henderson. And then the defense just picked up right where they left off. They weren't going to allow Western Michigan to get any ground on them. It was really a bend, don't break approach, something we've seen from them kind of in the past with a lot of all of their games. But they gave up a few yards in that first half, but didn't allow Western Michigan to get in the end zone or even crack the scoreboard with another shutout there. But on the offensive side of the football, there was everything you wanted. There was an incredible run game, which we'll get to in a little bit. Will Howard, very, very sharp, and exactly what I was looking for in his Week 2 performance. And then you also had the big play. You had the big play by Quinshon Judkins, who is a home run threat every time he touches the football. And Jeremiah Smith, holy cow, this young freshman is absolutely electric. Every time he gets the ball in his hands, every time he touches the football, he's liable to go the distance. And he proved that again tonight, catching just a little hitch route, a 10-yard route over the ball. Nice catch, but made one man miss and was off to the races, outran the rest of the team. So an awesome win for Ohio State, and in a fashion that was so important given what happened today around college football. The story tomorrow, I guess the story in a little bit before the NFL kicks off, is going to be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They go down to Kyle Field in College Station, Texas 2 weeks ago and come out with what looked to be one of the wins potentially of the first half of the year. They go into a hostile environment, get the job done, and everybody, not just Notre Dame, not just anybody, the entire media landscape already had them penciled in. Damn near had them sharpied in to the 12-team playoff. Northern Illinois had other plans. They came into South Bend and shocked the Irish 16-14 in a huge upset. But that wasn't it. Oklahoma State found themselves in a dogfight with Arkansas. You had Tulane giving Kansas State everything that they wanted and more. Alabama was even in a wrestling match with USF, who They ended up pulling away. Last I saw, it was a 41-16 score, but in the fourth quarter, it was a 3-point ball game. And USF decided to kick a field goal instead of go for a 4th and goal that would have potentially given them the lead. Just a weird day of football. Michigan gets absolutely thumped in the Big House, something that Ohio State fans absolutely love to see. But it was still a little bit of a shock. They put up less than no fight, which is something that we haven't been used to seeing from those Wolverines up north. But all around college football was pretty wild. And Ohio State kind of benefited from that. I missed one. Penn State was taken to the brink by Bowling Green. And so all of this stuff was happening in Ohio State's world, in Ohio State's conference. A lot of these Big Ten teams kind of getting taken to the brink. And for the first time all week, I was happy that Ohio State had a 7:30 kickoff because they got to watch Penn State struggle. They got to watch Notre Dame be at a deficit going into halftime. They watched Oklahoma State have to fight and crawl back to win a football game. And they were able to tell themselves, hey, no way, we're not doing this today. We're way better than the Western Michigan Broncos, and we got to come out and prove it, and they really did. 3 major points for me from this game, and we'll be quick tonight because I know we all got to get to bed, but I certainly appreciate you spending some time with me, a nightcap, if you will, spending some time with me here after this win. But the first thing that really caught my attention today was the physicality of the offensive line. Ohio State's offensive line last week, and we broke it down on last Sunday's show. Maybe it was a lack of miscommunication, but also there was a lack of physicality from the offensive line. And today that was not the story. The Ohio State Buckeyes offensive line and tight ends and receivers really made an impact from a physical standpoint when blocking on the perimeter, when blocking in the interior, and it was very evident. There was a number of times when our running backs, Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, maybe didn't even get touched for 5, 6, 7+ yards. But there was also a number of clips, and we'll show them all tomorrow morning, but of guys just finishing blocks and being very, very violent and aggressive with the way that they were playing up front, which was exciting to see. It's a huge portion of the game. Establishing your will physically and just totally dominating a team from that standpoint really sets the tone for how the game's going to go, and it unlocks a lot of the stuff that came a little bit later. So point 1 for me was physicality. Point 2, Will Howard. I thought Will Howard today was as sharp as we've seen him, and truthfully as sharp as I've seen him in a long time. Being the football junkie and the football nerd that I am, got to watch Will Howard at Kansas State for all the years he was there. And today was his sharpest performance, in my opinion, because he was quick with his decisions. He was very accurate with the football early. Yes, he missed a couple throws. You're not going to be perfect. But when you're called upon to make accurate throws in big situations, he was able to do so. What I was most excited about by Will is just his control and the comfort level he had this week. He talked last week after the Akron game. He goes, yeah, it meant something to me today to be an Ohio State Buckeye. It was my first time with all the new traditions. It was my first time in the horseshoe. All of those things factored into what was potentially kind of a choppy performance. But today, all that was gone. He's firmly an Ohio State Buckeye, and he looked the part. He came out right from the jump, put together a really quality game, finished 18 of 26 for 292 yards, 1 touchdown. That 1 touchdown, the home run ball to Jeremiah Smith, who wasn't a big ball, about a 10-yard throw, and JJ did what he's always going to do and what we should get used to seeing. Made one man miss, and bang, he was going to the races. So really impressed with Will Howard and his performance today. The third point, and one that I'm most excited for, and one I know Chip Kelly's most excited for, is that 1-2 punch of Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Those two, that thunder and lightning combination, you can decide which one's which, but for me, the thunder is Travion Henderson. He really packs a punch when he carries the football, and if you're in his way, I feel sorry for you because it ain't going to end well for you. And then Judkins, on the other hand, he's your lightning. That dude is a home run threat. Every time he touches the football, every time he touches the football, he's liable to go the distance. And you saw that again today. What I was most encouraged by, Judkins, 10 carries, Travion, 9 carries. You're going to see that. These two are going to get even looks, even reps when they're carrying the football. But for Judkins, he finished the game 9 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, a big one, got called back by a holding that we're going to have to check the tape on. Travion, on the other hand, 10 carries for 66 yards, 2 scores as well. James Peoples rounded out the scoring with a touchdown run himself. Across the board, Ohio State proved today that they were the dominant team, the team that we expected to see from them. You saw the defense flying around. What I'm most excited to show tomorrow is a couple Caleb Downs clips. Holy cow, as if I didn't think that kid could get any better. He showed up again tonight. It was really, really impressive. Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau really dominated the line of scrimmage. The linebackers were also very special. We talked to Cody Simon after the game today, and also talked to Sonny Styles as well, who's really coming into his role as that Mike linebacker and a force to be reckoned with inside. All in all, this Buckeyes team, if they can put even 50% of the team that they showed today, they're really going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the Big Ten and in the country at large. Got a ton of content for you coming forward these next couple days. Obviously, if you've been watching our show by now, you know how much football means to me, and you know that I know NFL kicks off tomorrow, and we're all so excited about it. There's Buckeyes literally littered everywhere throughout the NFL. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. Kicking off his NFL career tomorrow against the Buffalo Bills. You got Garrett Wilson on the New York Jets. They're coming on Monday night, but you're going to get to see him get a couple games with Aaron Rodgers. You got the Ohio State the Cleveland Browns. They might as well be the Cleveland Buckeyes. You got Denzel Ward locking down the back end for the Browns tomorrow, 4:25 kick, and all of the other Buckeyes that are littered throughout the NFL. They're coming to you at 1 o'clock. We're coming to you about 10:30 tomorrow with my favorite segment of the week when we break down the film. We break down what we watched today, the good and the bad. This week, unlike last week, it's going to be way more good than it is bad. So pencil that in for 10:30 tomorrow. Wake up. I know if you're up with me right now, sleep in, have your coffee in the morning, maybe a bagel or two, and join us over on the YouTube page. And please like and subscribe. We really love doing this for you guys. We really love and appreciate your fanship. So go to the page, like and subscribe. But if you want to read some stuff in the morning before you get to our film breakdown, head over to our page, head over to our website, si.com/college/Ohio State for all things Buckeyes. Happy to give you any content anywhere you want it. But in the meantime, let's all get some rest. It's a late night here after the Buckeyes put a beating on the Western Michigan Broncos, 56-0. And we certainly appreciate you hanging out with us on Ohio State on SI and the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast.